The proposal suggests that a greater allowance to councillors will attract more people interested in standing for election. I actually do challenge that viewpoint, so they may actually, while they may attract more people to stand, but only attract those who are possibly eligible for money. We're not here to enrich ourselves. We're here out of a sense of civic duty and a desire to achieve a better harmony with residents and visitors. A proposed increase of 31% has rightly been divided, and those of you thinking of supporting the recommendation from the IRP should think again. Public sector workers are only enjoying 1% increase, which is actually below the level of inflation to 2.5%. But even if we thought about increasing our own allowances by the same level, a cut will have to be found somewhere. It must be made abundantly clear that this recommendation is not budgeted for, and it would be hypocrisy to accept any increase in allowance, bearing in mind that not so long ago this council proposed a 4.9% increase in council tax, and I quote the council leader's own words: "While I regret having to increase council tax, I believe the government is leaving us with no choice, and it is up to councillors across the country to protect the most vulnerable in society." Statements I largely agree with. Are these unbudgeted proposals protecting the most vulnerable? I think not. I'm sure many of you with a conscience are secretly in agreement with me. Why are we wasting our time even discussing this? It's not what I or any of my colleagues stood for election to do. We should reject this proposal and remain on our current allowance. Earlier this evening, myself and my new colleagues have all agreed to refuse the proposed increase, and we urge many others to do so as well. I have passed on a joint letter to the Chief Finance Officer to that effect. Bear in mind, bear in mind, this does not constitute a rejection of any proposals in the future. But we would urge that proposed increases are either performance related, in line with the public sector, remuneration increases. I'd also add that councillors should only be recommended an increase if council performance is favourable to the majority of residents. And presently there are many people who express their deep dissatisfaction with the running and the decisions made by this council in recent times. We cannot in all conscience accept any increase in allowances in these times of austerity. We should be unburdening the taxpayer and move forward with plans to make Hartlepool a place to be proud of and an attractive place for businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When I first stood for election as councillor, I'm very proud to say I was Hartlepool Borough councillor. But in recent years, I've been quite ashamed to be part of what goes on in these chambers. And tonight's one of those nights. The fact that we're even considering putting up the basic allowance for members and therefore the SRAs in line with our own pockets is quite distasteful and quite disgraceful. Many people in the public sector have had their pay frozen for many years, so the cap of 1%, and we've heard nurses about stories about nurses eating from food banks. It is very, very distasteful. Tonight's proposal equates to an inflation plus of 31%. The average salary in Hartlepool is £23,795. Yet this pay rise will see the leader of this council be paid £31,168 for a part-time job. There are a few points in the report that I wish to take a closer look at. Point 5.1 in the report makes reference to the average cost of a councillor of £10,900. And this will be the cheapest in the Thames Valley. That's true. But we've also got a small number of electorates per council after Redfern, Cleveland and Darlington, and geographically they're much larger. There's also no such thing as an average councillor. One thing certainly as this chamber has told me is that some are more average than others. Under the new proposals of the arrangement, an average independent or Hartlepool Fest councillor will cost the taxpayer £8,000. Yet the average Labour councillor will cost the taxpayer £12,000. The average Conservative councillor will cost the taxpayer £12,500. The motivations of the IRP will have do appear to be laudable. They wish to broaden the range of people who in the future wish to consider becoming a councillor. This is something that this council is in desperate need of. Sadly, we have some councillors who have no grasp of the real world outside this chamber, and and at the struggle that face many families in this town. However, the rise is not going to change that. There's three factors: the current setup disrates professionals and those who wish to work, to be involved in this council. £2,000 a year isn't going to make a difference to anybody wishing to give up work. And thirdly, it's the current inaccessible regulations of this council that say no meetings take place underneath, the exception of this one, that further discourages people. Scrapping the SRA, though, the chairs of the neighbour forums, is something I do support. I would go a little bit further. Scrap the principal leaders of SRA as well. If you look at Article 6 of the Constitution, it makes reference to the leader of this council and therefore the chair of the Finance and Policy Committee. It will always be the principal leader, so it seems very futile to have a further allowance for its principal leader. I would also go that a little bit further and back the recommendations of scrapping telephones and travel allowances, because there's some people in this chamber I think are in for the full Virgin package. I end up by saying, I appreciate that. I end up by saying, I too have written to the Chief Financial Officer, Director of Finance and Policy, and he did talk about me more, I'm going to finish this sentence. I've written to him and I have said that if this is forced through tonight, I also refuse it. Quite frankly, you can put it where the sun don't shine. Finally, I involve with that the £75,000 has got to be found from somewhere. Completely the plan to bring in car parking charges and ceiling, increase the council tax in this town, and bring in charges of their own is how we're seeking funds. I find it disgraceful, and I have utter contempt for this council if they approve it.
Anybody else wish to Councillor Black? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We do not deserve a pay rise, but just to reiterate again, we do not deserve a pay rise. Now, some of you may still be sitting on the fence tonight, so hopefully you'll see some sense. Those who've already made your mind up and decided to accept this 31%, shame on you. There are two reasons for my first statement, and I'll try and keep it simple. Regardless of the party, regardless of the ward, regardless of the individual, we are collectively known as the councillors, aka ERPOT. Now, because we are collectively known as councillors, or ERPOT, every incorrect or wrongdoing one of us does is an impact on everyone. Unfortunately, we are tarnished with the same brush. Now, we can go back a long way with regards to the wrongdoings in this chamber, but let me remind you in no particular order. Our local councillor facing 32 charges over alleged fraud. Ex-councillor Angela Wilcox jailed for Residents Association fraud. Mayor sacked over funeral lives and issues.
Excuse me, Councillor Black.
Yes.
Can you stick to what's on the report?
Have I slept with you? Not directed at you, Mr. Chairman. I'll put you as a councillor stands by controversial Islam comments. All public headlines about councillors or connected to councillors in this chamber, all tarnishing the good name of local councillors and, most importantly, all reducing the public's trust. On top of this, we've increased council tax to record levels, we have cut services including staffing to beyond recognisable levels, we've applied car parking charges to St. Crew, and we've even restricted the use of our local open-air paddling pools. Based on this alone, we do not deserve a pay rise, we can't even afford it. My second reason is a slightly mixed bag, so bear with me. I said that one of the ideas around the increase is to make being a councillor a more attractive avenue for members of the public. In today's world, the highest power are attracted by the highest salary, which makes absolute sense. However, this won't work in our people for two reasons. Those who will most benefit from this increase will never voluntarily vacate their seat for the high power councillor, unless, of course, the electorate vote them out. They are here to stay. Meetings continue to take place during the working day when the highest power are at work. In essence, HBC could pay 30k a councillor and attract some of the top business people in the town. However, it's almost irrelevant if they are not able to attend the meetings. Now, I thank the IRB for their recommendations, which in a clear, trustworthy chamber with the public backing would probably be accepted as maybe
already, not for you. The council stand up together and keep this under touch for the many. That's all I have to say about it.
Anybody else on Councillor Fitzmaker's Belcher? Thank you.
Item 3.2 of the independent report states that we should be broadening the range of people who in future would consider standing to become a councillor. In this regard, the independent panel believe that the basic allowance needs to be set at a level which compensates people of working age, including self-employed people who need to reduce their work hours and undertake the duties of a councillor effectively. The independent panel believe this is particularly important in terms of compensating councillors who take on additional commitments to serve their communities and outside bodies. I think it's an important point within the report that Hartlepool allowance in the Lowston and North East, Lowston and Tees Valley, 35% lower than North East average, 28% lower than the average for the other Tees Valley authorities. Regardless of the decision tonight, which is about the value of the role and not the councillors, we have provision under 2.3 Part 6 of our Constitution, which states a member may give written notice to the Director of Finance and Policy to forego his or her entitlement. The proposal would also leave Hartlepool as the lowest cost per elector in the Tees Valley, in fact 11% lower than the average. In Hartlepool, we should not be trying to create an environment where we have rich mix of talent and expertise on the council, and that should not be predicated based on if you can afford to stand for public office. This proposal by the independent panel is not a pay rise, it is a proposal to align councillors' allowances with the role they undertake. We certainly shouldn't be creating a governance system where it's simply a race to the bottom, because the majority of councillors work incredibly hard, and I would like to see the opportunity to be afforded to everyone, regardless of their social background. If one of our staff was not on the correct rate of pay, we operate a job evaluation scheme where we align the salary and pay to duties undertaken. This occurs frequently with restructures and staff are compensated accordingly. This financial year, we've also reduced our contribution to the combined authority from in excess of 300,000 to 150,000. This is now permanently built into our medium-term financial strategy and has afforded us a £250,000 recurring saving, and we can manage any change in allowances in year and recurring. This is also in addition to the savings because of the removal of some special responsibility allowances and expenses. To be honest, I am also tired of the excuses from some councillors
And you start to wind up, please,
who state they cannot fulfil their duties, the same duties they knew existed when they stood for office. All in all, the proposals are independent, they are not our proposals, and they are about value in the role, not the individuals, and surely we shouldn't be creating that environment for everyone to have the means to become a councillor, and I welcome that.
Thank you.
Councillor
Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Starting from the definite silence from the level of drug preventions, I welcome the council to respond to this views. When I saw the headline in the media earlier in the week, I thought it sounded when I read it. I used two words, disgraceful and immoral. When you look at public sector workers are on the red line, and you've got 1% on the rising their salaries at the moment, and you've got 31% negotiable at the moment, it's absolutely disgraceful. When you look at the public workers at the moment, about 24,000, 26,000 from the budget. If you class to use 3 jobs in the civic centre, more than that. If you use it double the board budgets for councillors at the moment, and for charities that are done properly, for example, take, for example, the food banks. I know there's a lot of people in the Labour group who would be astounded maybe about the report, but that's democracy. If he's to go against the whips in the Labour group, and then he's elected from the last March meeting, that's democracy. So I'll definitely vote against this proposal at the moment, and I will definitely to use the money to give to charities in our group at the moment. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Enbridge.
Thank you, Chair, and members of the public. I'll actually be supporting the recommendation. I'm not ashamed in saying that, right? From a personal point of view, I've got more money than enough to live comfortably without the council house. Right? The point is, this was an independent review within a democratic society. The opinion that certain members are using the chamber to vent personal vendettas against members of the council. Right? If you look at the actual recommendations, you will see that Hartlepool Council has received one of the lowest remunerations in the area. When I took this role on, I was bothered about the actual remuneration package. I didn't even look at it. If I was told it was either £1,000 or £10,000, and that's what it was, then I would have accepted that as part of the democratic process. In any other areas, whether the teachers and nurses, if they put in for pay rises and they had independent reviews on those, then I'm quite sure that the independent reviews, the people would have accepted that and it would have gone through. But because it's from a council point of view, people are actually saying that we're just in it for the money. But we're not. I do work as a landlord. I do work as a landlord, and I'm proud to represent the residents of the Fens and Mosby and the whole of Hartlepool. So I will be supporting that, and that is the reason why. And finally, for the benefit of the public and some of the learned friends from the chamber, we do have a web system in the Labour Party, but we also have a process which allows us to vote individually. If that's expressed democratically, I will also consider that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Enbridge. Councillor Riddle. Oh, sorry. Councillor Moore, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Something the leader of the council said there that some members can't attend meetings during the working day, and they knew that before they were being a councillor. Similarly, people knew how much the remuneration was when they put themselves forward to be a councillor. I lose money by attending daytime meetings considerably because I can't take that day and I can't take off my holidays. I have to take good pay. But I knew that when I was doing the job. So I'm not bothered about an increase in that and getting up the tab for what I'm using. I'm not bothered at all. That isn't why I'm here. I'm here to represent the people of the town, to try and make a better job, to try and make a better town. So I don't accept what the council said there.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor David Riddle.
Thank you, Chair. If we are going to repay the same or similar level of allowance to other councils across the region, which I think seems to be the argument that is being made tonight, then I would counter that by saying we have to ensure that the residents of Hartlepool are receiving the same service and value for money as other councils across the region are providing their residents. And in terms of value for money, I do not know that any other council across our North East region that spent the best part of £500,000 on the Mountain Cafe. I do not know that any other council across this region that spent 5 years and £1.5 million on developing town plan, only to tear it up. I definitely do not know of another council across the North East where a council being said that this chamber and Hartlepool's government's arrangements are rather unique. I know that, Chair.
Stick to the agenda, please.
Chair, sorry, I'm trying to read the name.
Councillor Willis, you stick to what's in the report, please.
I am, Chair. I am. We're talking about the similarities across the authority, are we not?
Stick to what's in the
Well,
report.
the point is about the fact that we are a very Indian authority. I don't think it's an authority like anywhere in the country. We are frank in the UK. Which takes me to the issue of council tax, which was mentioned. If we are to accept that inflation was to be 31% rise in council allowance under the guise that it's parity across the region, then I would like to bring forward amendments in much the same way that Councillor Clark or amendments to agree to their items discussed in this chamber. My amendment reads as follows. If we accept the increase recommendation by the independent remuneration panel, either of the options, but only when council tax rates across the region are also equal. Members, if we want similar treatment and similar pay with other councillors across the combined authority, it seems to be the argument, then let's provide people of Hartlepool with similar council tax rates as the combined authority. And on close, Chair, I paraphrase the two socialists, one local and one national. To paraphrase Councillor Clark, let's stand shoulder to shoulder with our residents and only make ourselves financially better off when they are financially better off. And to paraphrase Jeremy Corbyn, as was said earlier, let's finally do something for the many and not for the few.
Chair. It's not watching it. Not an amendment to motion. First of all, especially written recommendations. Members can't make basically just with the nature actually of aligning cabinet rates with actually member allowances. With essentially you are perhaps very explanation myself and actually need to clarify the answer that actually using come up with my explanation. The local authority member allowances England regulations 2003 lay down that a council must actually have a scheme of allowances. Those allowances are predicated upon a report being received, an independent report from the independent remuneration panel. Within that, those regulations, there is nothing basically which aligns itself to issues as regards tax rates and utilisation of those rates. I'm happy to Councillor Riddle to clarify the point being made. Certainly, just in my thought, it's not comparable to actually having that in a scheme for allowances.
Just a question with regards to that. Does the same apply to the previous amendment that was made to the pay rise several months ago about only accepting that pay rise when council were to receive the pay rise? Is that also the same situation?
Chair, the allowances members receive is not simply the best actually attending meetings, it's the basically of constituency duties. So it's based upon the level of responsibility, basic allowances, and also special responsibility where you have basically chairing the meetings or based actually you are leader of the principal council.
Thank you.
Point of personal information.
No, you've spoken once, Councillor.
Should we have to read it, Chair? Point of personal information.
You've spoken on this issue.
Should we have to read it? I have had the opportunity to make a point of personal information.
I'm
Always
bringing-
clear as to what my argument was.
I'm bringing Councillor Clark in. Can you sit down, please, Councillor Riddle?
Chairman, found breaching the constitution.
Councillor
Would you
Clark?
like to loan it?
Chair,
To his pocket?
Chair, I appreciate what Councillor Thompson had to say. Members basically can respond to a point of order, which is applied here, or a point of personal explanation. And the member should be heard on that matter immediately. So, Chair, I actually called Councillor Riddle to clarify any point of interpretation that I had from his
Yeah, just to explicitly
Chair,
clarify.
before Councillor Riddle actually goes into his own consideration, saying the direction from him is not compatible with the operation of a scheme for allowances and what he mentioned by way of amendment. Certainly that came myself.
I'll ask again with respect before I make the explanation of my amendment. In this chamber, several months ago, there was an amendment to a motion for the independent remuneration panel that we deferred accepting it until such a time that staff were also receiving pay rise. And that was deemed to be legal and appropriate. That happened, I didn't imagine that scenario, that happened in the minutes. So my amendment is essentially to say that we defer acceptance of the remuneration panel recommendations, but only when our current tax is at parity with other members, other councils across the authority. So unless I'm being victimised here across my political persuasion, what we've seen 7 months ago is an amendment absolutely sailed through the vote on, and my view told that it's legal or not allowed.
Councillor Clark.
My explanation.
Chair, I recommend again, and certainly actually I think Chris Little will see corroborate what I'm going to say. As regards actually the deferment, that actually was not really a recommendation from the IRP. The report before members decided to defer matters, and the historical content actually of that is contained within the report. And it was deferred, and members did actually get the suggestion of linkage based actually with the 1% increase that's received more recently by the local authority employees. But that actually was the members' behest to defer, not from the IRP.
That's what I'm attempting to do. I'm asking to be fair acceptance from the IRP recommendations until such a time that the council taxes are equal. It's the same, essentially the same type of amendment that was accepted in this chamber 7 months ago.
Thank you, Councillor Hill.
Chair, final time, hopefully. There is no objection to any form of deferment. But certainly, actually, the way Councillor Riddle, in my estimation, it was not a mere deferment. It was basically a correction, of your allowance scheme, as I took it to explain previously, which is not within the compass, actually, of the allowance scheme. If it's basically an amendment simply to defer the matter, then that actually is acceptable.
Okay, then I amended to defer the recommendation of the independent remuneration panel that we only accept any rises in allowances until such a time that our council tax rates are parity across the authority.
Second, can you do that?
Just said I could do it, is what I mean.
I think Peter has made a comment, Chair. I think what my understanding is that it's what's being requested is a deferment. It isn't actually saying we reduce the council tax. And I think from what Peter's clarified, if I understood Peter correctly, if the situation was it was deferred on and had to reduce the council tax, I think I would be advising the council you couldn't do that because you would reduce income significantly. I think I haven't understood correctly on Peter's advice. What is being said is rather than have the deferment linked to when staff got pay rise, which was the previous case, the deferment will be linked to when other councils' council tax may catch up partly bills. And I think if I understood Peter correctly, therefore, Peter saying it is a motion that can be considered by council if it's been seconded.
Okay. Can I bring in Councillor Clark?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a feeling my name was going to get brought up because of my comments some 3 years ago. But I also want to respond to some points that have been raised by opposition members tonight as well. So I'd like to thank Councillor Hill for raising the point of our standing shoulder to shoulder with workers. And it gives me the opportunity to explain which party is on the side of workers. Now, whilst members opposite were doing everything within their power to ensure that a Labour MP was not returned after this election.
to do obviously what we choose towards the good conduct. Can I remind members firstly, I treat it as a very important item and maintain there is some restraint as regards the conduct of this evening. Members which have strayed outside with a compass again, that will possibly fall them. Press members basically bear that in mind when the Justice Chamber.
I move the vote.
Chair, just to clarify, Councillor Riddle put forward amendments and then was going to, I think, vary that amendment. It might be, Chair, opportune to hear basically the amendment from Councillor Riddle before you go on to the original proposal.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you for the opportunity. I think what you said was acceptable was phrased along these lines, that we defer the increase recommended by the independent remuneration panel until such a time that there is parity and same council tax rates across other members of that combined authority.
Anybody seconding that?
And I'm happy to second it because it would be unfair to the Fifth Amendment.
Right?
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Christopher Davis Belcher.
Against.
Councillor Stephen Davis Belcher.
Against.
Councillor Bartley.
Against.
Councillor Beck.
Against.
Councillor Black.
For.
Councillor Buchan.
For.
Councillor Clark.
Against.
Councillor Cook.
Against.
Councillor Cranny.
Against.
Councillor Fleming. Councillor Hall.
For.
Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Harrison. Councillor Hyde. Councillor Hunter.
Against.
Councillor James. Councillor Lauderdale. Councillor Lindridge. Councillor Lyons. Councillor Martin Wells.
Against.
Councillor McLaughlin.
Against.
Councillor Ewer.
For.
Councillor Morris.
Against.
Councillor Richardson.
Against.
Councillor Riddle.
For.
Councillor Robinson. Councillor Sears. Councillor Springer.
For.
Councillor Tennant. Councillor Thomas. Councillor Thompson.
Chair, I have that amendment is defeated 20 against and 11
Recommendation for us to approve what they are here recommending. Can we have a recorded vote on this, please?
Councillor Christopher Davis Belcher.
For.
Councillor Stephen Davis Belcher.
For.
Councillor Bartley.
For.
Councillor Beck.
For.
Councillor Black.
Against.
Councillor Buchan.
Against.
Councillor Clark.
For.
Councillor Cook. Councillor Cranny. Councillor Fleming. Councillor Hall.
Against.
Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Harrison. Councillor Hyde.
Against.
Councillor Hunter.
Abstain.
Councillor James. Councillor Lauderdale. Councillor Lindridge. Councillor Lyons. Councillor Martin Wells.
For.
Councillor McLaughlin.
Abstain.
Councillor Miller.
Against.
Councillor Morris. Councillor Richardson.
For.
Councillor Riddle.
Against.
Councillor Robinson. Councillor Sears. Councillor Springer.
Against.
Councillor Tennant.
Against.
Councillor Thomas? Sorry. Councillor Thompson.
Apologies against.
Really, it should be ashamed of yourself.
Chair, also you have voted in favour, 17 to 11 with 3 abstentions.
Disgusting.
Taking the food out of every person that works in Hartlepool out their mouth.
How could you vote for that? Disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting.
Where you take the food out, where the man's mouth, look you're throwing yourself. Well, glad you tried.
Think of Hartlepool with your pockets.